As we head into the final days before Christmas, we're focusing this week on the meaning of love, since every year on the fourth Sunday of Advent, we light the candle of love. All this week I've been exploring different facets of love, beginning with the idea that love is the single most important element uniting the church and its members to one another, if only imperfectly. Yesterday I talked specifically about kindness as the heart of what love within the community of faith is all about. But all of this talk of love should prompt us to ask where this love comes from, where it begins. And it begins, as I suggested on Monday, from God, and specifically from God's kindness to us as human beings. Today I want to talk about one element of God's kindness. Hello, I'm Stuart Baskin, pastor of First Presbyterian Church of Tyler, Texas, and this is your daily devotional for Friday, December 23rd, 2022. I'm going to circle back to the letter 1 John, which talks extensively about the nature of love. Most of what the writer talks about is the importance of love within the community of faith, but in at least one place, the writer talks about the love God has given us, and in specific terms. The writer says, "See what love the Father has given us, that we should be called children of God." And that is what we are. The reason the world does not know us is that it did not know Him. Beloved, we are God's children now. What we will be has not yet been revealed. What we do know is this: when He is revealed, we will be like Him, for we will see Him as He is. And all who have hope in Him purify themselves just as He is pure. So there is actually a pretty specific context to this passage, which makes it more than just warm, sentimental words. It was during one of those times and in one of those places where the church faced hostility from the world around it. We know from a distance what that looked like. At a minimum, it took the form of social ostracization. Former friends might withdraw friendship from those who had joined this strange new religion. Even family members might shun converts. Or it could also have included economic ostracization. Employers might find convenient reasons to let church members go. Or, if a church member were a merchant, formerly loyal customers might start to take their business elsewhere. And, at the extremes, believers might also face actual persecution from the governing authorities. It never seems to have been all that widespread, but the very possibility of it cast a shroud over the whole church, even in those corners of the church that never really experienced the worst of the persecutions. In a situation like this, it would have been easy to feel utterly cut off, alone, abandoned. In short, it would have been easy to feel estranged from culture and from family, effectively orphaned. It is to this situation that the writer of 1 John addressed these words. They would have come as needed reassurance that not only were they not alone, but that God Himself had adopted them as His own children. Now, to be honest, I've never felt this same kind of estrangement from friends or family or from the culture around me, so it's a bit difficult for me to feel what the writer's audience would have felt hearing these words. But I can only imagine that these words would have been received not only with a sense of relief, but also with a sense of overwhelming joy. On the other hand, while we may not know the depth of discouragement many in the early church felt because of persecution, we have all felt times when we have felt utterly alone and cut off from others. For some who suffer chronic depression, this sense of isolation can be crushing. So even though our situation may be different from that of the early church, we can also feel a sense of estrangement and isolation, even if everything else appears normal. Into such a life, letting these words sink in and soak us with God's merciful love can be a lifesaver. For even if others abandon us, we are still children of God, perfectly loved in every way. Tomorrow, Christmas Eve, let's contemplate the ultimate sign of God's great love for us. But for now, May God continue to bless you and keep you in all that you do this day and in all the days ahead.